The research vessel Nixthera hung in Earth's orbit, its bioorganic hull pulsing with neural activity as it processed the incoming data. Commander Raxtalone stood at the observation deck, his crystalline eyes refracting the pale blue light of the planet below. After 3 centuries of exploring the galaxy's sentient species, he had never encountered readings like these. Analysis confirmed, Commander, announced Chief Scientist Vixtal, her bioluminescent patterns flickering with excitement. The humans demonstrate unprecedented cellular reconstruction capabilities during periods of emotional distress. The vessel's quantum processors projected a holographic display of their latest observations. A warehouse fire in Mumbai, rescue workers lifting impossible loads. A marine unit in the Pacific, soldiers continuing to fight despite severe injuries. A mountain climbing accident in the Alps, a survivor enduring conditions that should have been fatal. Impossible, muttered Science Officer Krisha, her tendrils wrapping tightly around her data tablet. Their medical technology is primitive. They still rely on chemical compounds and crude surgical procedures. Vixtal manipulated the holographic display with her thought patterns, expanding the cellular analysis. That's what makes it remarkable. Their bodies don't just heal, they adapt. Each injury, each moment of stress, makes them stronger. The observation had begun as a routine survey of pre-FTL civilizations. The Nixthera's mission was to catalog potential species for future contact, nothing more. But as their quantum sensors penetrated deeper into human biology, they discovered something that defied explanation. "Show me the comparison," Raxtalone commanded. The hologram shifted, displaying cellular regeneration rates across known sentient species. The Artaxians, with their advanced biotechnology, topped the charts. The crystalline Zindar, who had mastered genetic engineering, came second. Humans, with their primitive medicine, shouldn't have even registered. Yet there they were, their baseline healing rates already exceeding galactic averages. And when stressed, when angry, when pushed to their limits, their cellular reconstruction soared off the charts. "We've detected a pattern," Vixtal continued, her excitement barely contained. "Their emotional states, particularly what they call rage, trigger something at the quantum level. Their mitochondria somehow extract energy from dimensions we didn't know could interact with biological systems." Raxtalone's crystalline form shimmered with concern. "The Council will never approve direct intervention. Their pre-FTL. The protocols. The protocols also mandate investigation of any discovery that could revolutionize medical science," Vixtal countered. "Think of it, Commander. No more regeneration tanks. No more synthetic replacements. Pure biological adaptation, powered by something as primitive as emotion." The commander studied the data streams, his centuries of experience warring with scientific curiosity. The potential was undeniable. If they could isolate this mechanism, understand it, replicate it, it would transform medical science across the galaxy. "Prepare a covert observation team," he finally decided. "Minimal footprint. Level 4 stealth protocols. We observe only." But as the Nixthera adjusted its orbit, deploying its quantum camouflage, none of its crew noticed a small anomaly in their readings. With each scan, with each probe into human biology, the subjects showed microscopic changes. As if their very cells were learning, adapting, preparing for something. The first sign that something had gone wrong came 3 days later. A routine tissue sample extraction in Rio de Janeiro went catastrophically wrong. The subject, a construction worker named Gabriel Santos, didn't just resist the automated collection drone, he saw through its stealth field. "Impossible!" Krisha exclaimed as the emergency signal blared through the ship. "Our camouflage technology is based on quantum principles their eyes shouldn't even be able to process." The observation feeds showed Gabriel not only seeing the drone but destroying it with his bare hands. The strength readings were off the scale. More disturbing were the cellular scans, his body had somehow adapted to perceive quantum fluctuations. "Abort the collection," Raxtalone ordered, but it was too late. Across the globe, more humans began showing signs of enhanced perception. Their test subjects were not just healing faster, they were evolving. Vixtal's bioluminescence pulsed with a mixture of terror and scientific awe as she processed the incoming data. "Commander," she whispered, "I don't think we're dealing with simple biological adaptation anymore. Their rage, it's not just healing them. It's changing them. And now..." She didn't need to finish the thought. Now they knew they were being watched. Now they were angry. And as the Nixthara's sensors recorded with terrifying clarity, humanity's anger was about to show the galaxy exactly what it meant to evolve through rage. The ship's quantum processors registered a sudden spike in human neural activity worldwide. Like a chain reaction spreading across the planet's population, something was awakening. Something that would force the galaxy to recognize humanity not as a primitive species to be studied, but as something entirely new. Something that had learned to turn its most primitive emotion into the key to unlocking potential that even the most advanced civilizations had never imagined possible. The isolation chamber aboard the Nixthara hummed with contained energy as Vixtal studied their first successfully captured subject. Lieutenant Regina Blackwood hadn't made a sound since her containment, but the rage radiating from her was palpable enough to make the ship's sensors fluctuate. "Remarkable," Vixtal murmured, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with scientific excitement. "Even in stasis, her cellular activity defies our models." The human woman floated in the suspension field, her dark skin reflecting the chamber's soft blue light. They had selected her carefully, a military pilot who had survived a crash that should have been fatal, healing in weeks instead of months. "Your species is fascinating," Vixtal attempted communication through the neural translator. "Your ability to adapt." "Save it," Regina interrupted, her voice steady despite the containment field. "I'm not here to satisfy your curiosity." In the adjacent chamber, their second subject provided a striking contrast. Thomas Weber, a deep-sea rescue diver, had been chosen for his extraordinary recovery after a decompression accident. Unlike Regina's cold rage, his anger burned hot, setting off cascading alarms in the monitoring systems. "The cellular reconstruction patterns are completely different," Science Officer Creshaw observed, her tendrils weaving complex patterns of confusion. Yet both achieve the same result, adaptation beyond normal parameters. The ship's quantum processors struggled to analyze the data streaming from both chambers. Each subject's cells seemed to be communicating in ways that violated known biological principles. More concerning were the changes occurring at the quantum level, changes that seemed to accelerate when the subjects were in proximity to each other. "Begin the stimulus tests," Commander Raxtalone ordered from the observation deck. "We need to understand the triggers for their adaptive response." The first test was simple, controlled tissue damage followed by monitored regeneration. But as the medical drones approached Regina's chamber, something unexpected happened. The containment field flickered, just for a moment. "Impossible," Creshaw whispered. "The field is based on fundamental forces. They couldn't possibly." The warning klaxon cut her off. In the second chamber, Thomas's vital signs had spiked dramatically. His cellular structure was changing, becoming more dense, more resilient. The quantum readings made no sense, it was as if his body was learning from Regina's resistance, adapting to counter the containment technology. "Fascinating," Vixtal breathed, her scientific curiosity overshadowing her growing concern. "They're resonating somehow, sharing information at a quantum level we didn't know biological systems could access." The tests continued, each one revealing new aspects of human adaptation. Physical trauma, environmental stress, psychological pressure, with each stimulus, the subjects didn't just recover, they evolved. Their cellular structure became more complex, their neural patterns more intricate. But it was the rage that truly transformed them. Their emotional state isn't just accelerating healing, Vixtal reported, her patterns flickering with excitement and fear. It's catalyzing controlled evolution. Every moment of anger is teaching their bodies how to access quantum states that should be impossible for organic matter. In their chambers, Regina and Thomas had gone quiet. Too quiet. The rage was still there, but it had transformed into something focused, purposeful. The ship's sensors detected subtle changes in the quantum field surrounding them, as if reality itself was being reshaped by their determination. "Commander," Krishaw's voice trembled slightly. "The containment fields, they're not just failing. They're being rewritten." Raxtalon's crystalline form shimmered with concern as he processed the data. The humans weren't just adapting to their captivity, they were somehow reaching into the quantum structure of the containment technology itself, understanding it, learning to manipulate it. The first containment breach alarm sounded just as the ship's quantum processors detected a massive spike in similar neural patterns across Earth's surface. Somehow, the captured humans were communicating with their species, sharing their evolutionary adaptations through means that defied scientific explanation. "Shut down the chambers," Raxtalon ordered, but it was too late. Regina and Thomas had already learned more than enough. The containment fields shattered simultaneously, not through brute force, but through precise manipulation of quantum states that the aliens had thought impossible for any organic being to comprehend, let alone control. As emergency protocols engaged and security drones converged on the laboratories, Vixtal made one final observation. The humans weren't escaping in panic or blind rage. Their movements were coordinated, precise, enhanced by changes that went far beyond physical adaptation. They had learned, adapted, and evolved. And now, they were going to teach their captors exactly what humanity's rage could accomplish when focused by determination and sharpened by purpose. The Nixthara's corridors echoed with alarms as the ship's crew faced a terrifying realization: they hadn't just discovered humanity's potential for adaptation. They had accelerated it, concentrated it, and given it a reason to reach its full potential. And that potential was about to demonstrate why some species were better left unstudied. The Nixthara's emergency containment protocols proved useless against opponents who could read and manipulate quantum states. Regina Blackwood and Thomas Weber moved through the ship's corridors like ghosts, their enhanced bodies adapting to each new security measure before it could take effect. But they weren't trying to escape. Not yet. "The neural core is 3 levels down," Regina communicated silently to Thomas, using the quantum resonance they developed in captivity. Their shared rage had forged a connection that transcended normal human limitations. In the ship's command center, chaos reigned. Multiple breaches detected in research sectors 7 through 12, Krishaw reported, her tendrils writhing with anxiety. "They're not just avoiding our security measures, they're learning from them." Commander Raxtalon's crystalline form pulsed with emergency frequencies as he assessed the situation. The humans weren't behaving like test subjects or even escaped prisoners. They were moving with purpose, accessing ship systems with an understanding that should have been impossible. "They're targeting our data cores," Vixtal realized, her bioluminescence flickering with sudden understanding. "Everything we've learned about their species, all our research on their adaptive capabilities. Purge the systems," Raxtalon ordered, but the ship's quantum processors were already responding to foreign commands. Somehow, the humans had learned to communicate with the bioorganic technology at its most fundamental level. Deep in the ship's neural core, Regina and Thomas worked in perfect synchronization. Their enhanced minds processed the alien data structures not as foreign technology, but as extensions of the same quantum principles their bodies had learned to manipulate. "Humanity needs to know," Thomas thought spoke as his consciousness merged with the ship's systems. "Not just about them watching us, but about what we can become." On Earth, the first signs of a greater awakening were already spreading. The quantum resonance generated by Regina and Thomas had triggered a cascade effect in human populations worldwide. People began reporting enhanced healing, increased strength, and most significantly, an awareness of things that should have been beyond human perception. The Nixthara's long-range sensors detected the change spreading like a wave across the planet. Humans weren't just healing faster anymore, they were evolving at an unprecedented rate, their rage and determination accelerating adaptations that should have taken millennia. "We need to contain this," Raxtalone commanded, but even as he spoke, more alarms blared through the ship. Earth's military installations had begun detecting their presence, piercing through quantum camouflage that should have been impenetrable to human technology. Vixtal's scientific excitement had turned to terror as she processed the incoming data. "Commander, they're not just adapting physically. Their entire species is undergoing a quantum awakening. The rage, it's not just an emotion anymore. It's becoming a tool, a key to unlocking potential we never imagined possible." In the neural core, Regina and Thomas completed their work. The ship's entire database of human research had been transmitted to Earth's newly awakening population. But they had discovered something else in the alien records, something that made their shared rage burn even hotter. "They're not alone," Regina communicated. "This ship is just a scout. There's an entire civilization out there, watching, studying, waiting." The implications rippled through their quantum connection and out to the awakening human consciousness. Humanity had never been truly alone in the universe, and now they knew exactly what they faced, and exactly what they could become. On Earth's surface, military commanders watched in astonishment as their personnel began demonstrating abilities that defied explanation. Soldiers could sense incoming threats before they manifested. Engineers suddenly understood principles of quantum mechanics that had puzzled humanity's greatest minds. The rage that had started as a simple emotional response had evolved into something more, a catalyst for change, a tool for advancement, a weapon against those who would treat humanity as mere test subjects. Commander Raxtalone made his final transmission to the Galactic Council as the ship's systems fell completely under human control. "We have made a terrible mistake. The humans, they're not just adapting to our presence. They're using our own studies of them as a blueprint for their evolution." In the neural core, Regina and Thomas initiated the final stage of their plan. The Nixthara's quantum processors, now fully under their control, began broadcasting a signal that would accelerate the awakening across Earth. The message was simple, encoded in the quantum resonance that all humans could now feel: we are not alone. We are not weak. And we are no one's test subjects. As the ship's containment systems finally failed completely, Vixtal made her final log entry: "We came to study human rage, to understand its power to heal and adapt. Instead, we have given them the key to becoming something far beyond our comprehension. May the galaxy forgive our curiosity." The age of human limitation was ending. The age of quantum humanity was about to begin. The Galactic Council's emergency session chamber blazed with agitated bioluminescence as representatives from 1,000 worlds struggled to comprehend the crisis unfolding in a previously unremarkable solar system. The quantum feeds from Earth showed something that should have been impossible: an entire species undergoing directed evolution in real time. High Counselor Gental, her crystalline form refracting light in patterns of extreme distress, addressed the assembly. "The Nixthara's final transmissions confirm our worst fears. Human adaptation has exceeded all known biological parameters." On the central display, Earth glowed with unprecedented quantum activity. What had started with 2 test subjects had cascaded across the planet's population. Humans weren't just healing anymore, they were transforming. In New Delhi, a traffic accident victim regrew lost limbs in hours, the new tissue stronger than the original. In Sao Paulo, construction workers demonstrated the ability to perceive and manipulate structural weaknesses at the quantum level. In Lagos, children in hospitals were spontaneously healing, their bodies rewriting damaged DNA. "This goes beyond simple biological adaptation," reported Science Minister Kralvex, his tentacles weaving complex patterns of scientific fascination and terror. They're not just getting stronger or healing faster. They're fundamentally rewriting the rules of their own existence. The Council watched as humans demonstrated abilities that defied explanation. They could perceive quantum states, communicate across vast distances without technology, and manipulate matter at its most fundamental level. The rage that had started as a simple healing trigger had evolved into something far more profound, a tool for conscious evolution. Meanwhile, aboard the captured Nixthera, Regina Blackwood and Thomas Weber had become something more than human. Their consciousness had merged with the ship's quantum systems, giving them access to the sum total of galactic scientific knowledge. "They're afraid," Regina communicated to the global quantum network that now connected all of humanity. "Not just of what we've become, but of what we represent." The truth resonated through the human collective consciousness: they were never meant to evolve this way. The galaxy's dominant species had deliberately engineered their own evolution, carefully controlling each step over millions of years. Humanity's spontaneous quantum awakening represented chaos in their ordered universe. Across Earth, the transformation accelerated. Military organizations discovered that their personnel could now coordinate without communication devices, sharing thoughts and strategies through quantum entanglement. Medical researchers found they could heal patients with nothing but focused intention. Scientists began unraveling the mysteries of the universe simply by learning to perceive quantum reality directly. But it was the children who showed the most dramatic changes. Born into this new quantum awareness, they demonstrated abilities that made even the transformed adults seem limited. They could reshape matter with a thought, access any information through the quantum field, and perceive multiple dimensions simultaneously. In the council chamber, the debate turned desperate. "We must contain this," argued the military coordinator, his warform pulsing with aggressive energy. "If they master quantum manipulation at this rate." "They already have," interrupted a new voice. Dr. Vixtal, the only survivor from the Nixthera's science team, had been granted emergency speaking privileges. "What we're witnessing isn't just adaptation anymore. It's transcendence." The quantum feeds showed the truth of her words. Humans had begun constructing technologies that merged biological and quantum engineering in ways the galaxy's finest minds had never imagined. They weren't just copying alien technology, they were reinventing it, improving it, making it part of themselves. "We thought we were studying them," Vixtal continued, her patterns showing a mixture of awe and resignation. "But we were actually giving them a blueprint for their own potential. Every scan, every test, every piece of data we collected showed them what they could become." The Council's worst fears were confirmed when the first human quantum ships appeared in orbit around Earth. They weren't constructed in shipyards or assembled in factories. They had been grown, engineered through the merger of human consciousness and quantum manipulation. Regina and Thomas, their consciousness now spanning both human and quantum realms, led the emergence of this new fleet. The ships weren't just vessels, they were extensions of human will, physical manifestations of humanity's newfound mastery over quantum reality. "We need to make a decision," High Counselor Gentile announced as the emergency session reached its crisis point. "Do we attempt to contain this evolution, knowing it could lead to war with a species that can rewrite reality itself? Or do we accept that the galaxy's balance of power has shifted irreversibly?" The answer came not in words but in a quantum transmission that reached every corner of galactic civilization. It carried the combined consciousness of humanity, transformed but still driven by the same determination that had triggered their evolution. "We are not your subjects," the message resonated. "We are not your experiment. We are humanity, and we have only begun to understand what that means." The age of carefully controlled galactic evolution was over. The era of quantum humanity had begun, and no force in the universe could stop what was coming next. The Galactic Council's worst nightmare had come true: a species had emerged that could rewrite the fundamental laws of evolution itself. As human quantum ships took up positions throughout the solar system, the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what this transformed humanity would do with its newfound power. none had expected their first action to be an invitation. "We offer an exchange." Regina Blackwood's consciousness resonated through the quantum network, now spanning half the galaxy. Not surrender, not submission, but understanding. The council chamber erupted in chaos. 1,000 species argued about the implications, their combined voices creating a cascade of light and sound. High Counselor Gentile raised all 4 of her crystalline appendages, demanding order. "Understanding of what?" she finally asked, her voice carrying across the quantum divide. The answer came not in words but in a demonstration. Across the galaxy, on worlds where medical technology had reached its limits, human quantum healers appeared. They didn't just treat injuries or cure diseases, they taught the patient's bodies to heal themselves, sharing the knowledge that humanity had gained through its transformation. Thomas Weber, his consciousness now integrated with the quantum field itself, led the effort to share another gift, the ability to perceive and manipulate quantum reality. But unlike the forced evolution humanity had undergone, this was offered as a choice, a path that each species could explore at its own pace. "You studied us because you saw potential," his thoughts resonated through the galactic quantum network. "But you never understood what that potential truly meant." On Earth, the transformation had reached its culmination. The new generation of humans, born into quantum awareness, had begun reshaping their world. Cities grew like living things, merging technology and biology in ways that honored both nature and progress. Disease, poverty, and environmental degradation became memories as humanity learned to manipulate reality at its most fundamental level. But they hadn't lost their humanity in the process. If anything, the ability to directly perceive the quantum connections between all things had made them more empathetic, more aware of their responsibility to the universe and each other. "The rage that triggered our evolution," Regina explained to the council, "wasn't just anger at being studied, at being treated as subjects. It was rage at the artificial limitations, at the idea that any species should be constrained by another's expectations." The evidence of humanity's new approach spread across the galaxy. Where there were conflicts, human mediators arrived, their quantum awareness allowing them to bridge seemingly insurmountable differences between species. Where there were ecological disasters, human environmental engineers helped worlds heal themselves. Where there was suffering, human healers taught others to access their own potential for regeneration and growth. Dr. Vic Stahl, who had once studied humans like specimens, found herself working alongside them as equals. "We thought we were advancing science," she admitted to the council. "Instead, we were witnessing the birth of something unprecedented, a species that could turn adversity into advancement, restriction into liberation." The quantum ships that had once seemed so threatening became bridges between worlds, carrying knowledge and opportunities for growth to every corner of the galaxy. Humanity had not conquered the stars, they had opened a door that any species could choose to walk through. "Your greatest mistake," Thomas communicated to the assembled council, "was thinking that evolution could be controlled, directed, contained. True evolution emerges from challenge, from the determination to overcome, from the rage against limitation itself." The children of Earth's quantum awakening grew into beings who could dance between dimensions, their consciousness spanning realities that the galaxy's oldest species had never imagined. But they remained connected to their humanity, guided by the same emotions and principles that had triggered their transformation. As the decades passed, the galaxy changed. Not through conquest or control, but through choice and collaboration. Species that chose to explore their own potential found humans ready to guide them. Those that preferred their traditional paths were respected and protected. The rage that had reforged humanity became something else, a passionate determination to ensure that no species would ever again be treated as mere test subjects, that evolution would be a choice, not a limitation imposed by others. In the end, the Nixthara's mission had succeeded, though not in the way its crew had intended. They had sought to understand human adaptation. Instead, they had catalyzed a transformation that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of what was possible. Regina and Thomas, their consciousness now spanning the quantum fabric of the universe itself, watched as new generations of all species began to explore their own potential. The rage that had triggered humanity's metamorphosis had become a gift, the freedom to evolve, to grow, to become something more than what others believed possible. And in the vast quantum dance of the galaxy, humanity had found its true purpose, not to conquer or control, but to open doors, to show possibilities, to rage against limitation itself until every species could choose its own path to evolution. The story of humanity's transformation became a legend told across the galaxy, not as a cautionary tale of experiments gone wrong, but as a testament to the power of determination, the strength of adaptation, and the unlimited potential that lies within every species, waiting only for the courage to embrace it. The end was just the beginning.